All right, so we've done our walking around, open and closing to warm up our bodies. We've done our 2 neck exercises. Now we're to our shoulders. We've done so much way before I pushed record, right, y'all? That feels like a massage when I roll those shoulders back. I probably go a little bit too big. Try to think about a quarter size as you draw those circles on the sides of your legs as you're rolling those shoulders forward and back. So as we know in Tai Chi, we try to do everything small, slow, smooth, small. Nothing is big, bad, and quick. Let's bring those hands up and push them down. Great opportunity to practice our breath and gentle resistance. Inhale up. Exhale. Let's grab our ball to stretch our spine, separating heavens and earth, pushing towards the ground and towards the ceiling, stretching that spine vertically, keeping that soft bend in our elbows, and switch. I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate, but you breathe at your own pace. The main thing is your breathing. You can practice diaphragmatic breathing separate from your Tai Chi. In my experience, it gets to be too much. You just try to do too many things at one time. I like to practice diaphragmatic breathing by itself, and then just make sure I'm breathing as I do my Tai Chi. All right, let's take our ball side to side, stretching that spine horizontally. Remember, it's just a small, short trip from just above one knee to just above the other. Remembering to breathe as we go side to side in this movement. And then check in with your posture. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure you're not holding any tension. Make sure you're not leaning forward any. Back to center. Now we're ready for our hips, knees, and ankles. These are our weight-bearing joints. You might want to give yourself a little shake. Right there, we held our weight on both legs there for a little while. So giving yourself a shake kind of breaks that up. So now working on our hips. Again, we're good, nice upright posture, nice stable stance. We're going to shift our weight to one foot. Place our heel out forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Again, make sure you're keeping that upright posture. That toe goes back just like a kickstand on a bike. Helps us be more stable than if we were to take that toe straight back. I'm kind of in beginner Tai Chi mode since all my classes just started. So excuse me for over-explaining probably some of these. Shifting our weight to the other leg, heel forward, hands back. I think sometimes I go in robo mode because I say so many of the same things so many times in a week. I teach 5 classes in a week. And I'm not complaining because I love it. Sometimes it's just hard for me to get out of that automatic mode of what to say during the movements. So this is a challenge for me. I'm excited about it. Now let's shift our weight side to side. Shifting, the hands go with the weight shift, and then tap that toe out. Shift and tap. Staying within our frame, keeping our bodies upright. So I know sometimes we feel like, oh, we got to do more because more has to be better. And what happens is you start going further. You go outside of your frame, and then you start leaning. And anytime you're leaning, you're going towards falling. Doesn't mean you will fall, but that's why that upright posture is so important, not just in Tai Chi class, but everywhere you go, keeping a nice upright posture and your weight over top of your hips so that you're more balanced. Next is for our knees. We have our nice loose fist. I like mine down by my hips. You may like yours a little higher. Just don't hold tension in your shoulders. So shift the weight, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Take your time as you shift the weight, slowly letting those muscles become stabilizers. That's what's going to help keep us balanced as our muscles get stronger. The evidence shows that the more able we are to hold our weight on one leg is we're less likely to fall. I just think that's totally a big duh, but they did a study on it, so it was important. I'm sure they spend our tax money too. The next one for our knee is where we step out. So we take that small step forward, keeping both feet flat on the floor, shift and punch, bring it back, feet together, or feet side by side, shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back.
This is that Tai Chi class.
You don't like start to clench your fists. Sometimes that will happen, and clenching your fist or tightening your fist, that's tension. And if you have tension in your hands, then it may cause arthritis or cause your arthritis to flare up. So just check yourself throughout the day, check your body, make sure you're not holding tension anywhere. Usually when I say something, it's because I've caught myself doing something, either holding my breath or not breathing or clenching my fist for whatever reason. Next is for our ankles. We have no arm movements for this. We shift, heel toe, heel toe. We often forget about this ankle joint because it's so far away from our head or from our eyes, but having nice mobility in our ankle joint can help keep us from falling too. Anytime our body is just stiff, it lends itself to falling. Now let's go big toe, little toe. So we're moving that ankle side to side. So these are our warm-ups of our major joints. This is what we do every class. I'll talk less, make the effort to talk less through our warm-up. So we can get through that and move on to our Tai Chi movements. All right, so any questions with our warm-ups? Y'all know that you can talk out anytime if you need any clarification, or if I'm saying it a certain way that you don't understand, because that's not necessarily you. It just, you get used to hearing things a certain way. So if I'm saying something new or different and you need more explanation, just let me know. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to stop and say it in a different way. So let's do our basic 6. I don't know how long it's been since Regina's class. She may have told me, but I forget. How long has it been since y'all done that class with her?
Mid-November.
Mid-November. Okay, so it hasn't been too long, but it is hard to, or it's easy to forget things if you haven't stayed in practice. So let's talk you through our basic 6, starting with commencement. Remember, we have our upright posture, weights on both legs. And commence. Bring those hands up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up, Shift as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust the weight. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift, 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 step and switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust the weight. Push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. 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 Step and switch, turn, come back to center for open and close. And close it out. So that's the verbiage that I use when I talk you through your movements. It may sound different. We can break it down different ways. Now, I always keep this poster up, step, switch, turn, shift, just because I think in waving hands in clouds, there are so many things that go on, and this can help break it down. So that is always there. Of course, I always say there's 4 things in waving hands in clouds. There's the step, and then there's the switching of the hand. There's the turn, and then the shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. So that's the breakdown of waving hands in clouds. And like I said, I've been through a journey with how to talk about waving hands in clouds. Used to, I would say wave, but really it's not a wave. You think about a wave being like this, but the hand goes along for the ride as your body turns, right? Because it's a torso movement. That movement that we start, or in our warm-ups where we warm up our spine side to side, it's a torso movement. Our hands or our ball just goes along for the ride. Same thing with waving hands in clouds. Our hands are just different. So connecting our warm-up movement with our Tai Chi movement, you can feel that's a torso movement, not a hand movement. All right. Did y'all go into Advanced 6 in Regina's class?
Yes.
I'll do. Okay, you did brush knee. Okay, so let's go through those moves. Remember, in our advanced movements, we go to the left first, and then we do them all to the right, okay? And I know we're getting close on time being over, but let me go through this, and we'll just go a little over time. And if you need to leave, it's okay, I understand. But this will be on recording if you want to check it out later. Advanced 6. This is where we're starting. We're going to the left first. Brush knee, shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step, bring this hand around, shift as I push, and follow step. Play the loop. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass and follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and guard. Shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close. Step back, separate hands. Shift as they come down to our hips. Follow step. Push the tiger. Step. Shift as I push my hands. Follow step. To the front. Step. Shift. Step. Just wait. Hands face. Open and close. Now to the right. Brush knee. Shift right. Left toe in and reach. Shift. Separate, prepare. Step. Bring this hand around. Shift as I push. Follow step. Play the loop. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass to that elbow and follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step. Guard. Shift, deliver. Follow step. Block and close. Step back, release hands. Shift as they come to my hips. Follow step. Push the tiger. Step. Push as I shift. Follow step. To the front. Step. Shift. Step. Turn hands. Open and close. And close it out. Again, that's some of the verbiage that I use. It may sound so different, but we're gonna walk through it and learn these movements. The movements are the same. I've learned new ways of talking about it, especially thinking about gentle resistance. So thinking about brush knee. We're coming from open and close. And whenever I used to say lay hands, it felt like dominoes, like my hands were laying down. Well, that doesn't lend itself to gentle resistance, which is one of our principles. So when I started saying reach, the movement's the same, but then I think I'm using that little bit of resistance to reach that hand out, and that gave it a different feel. Same thing with here. I guess because I'm a baseball mom, I would say here and throw that pitch, which is not how you throw a pitch, but whatever. Throw that pitch. Well, now I say, bring the hand around and push. And whenever you push, that lends itself to gentle resistance, doesn't it? So reach and push, gentle resistance. So I've changed in the way I talk about these movements to encourage us to explore and use our principles. All right, so I'm going to go through the basic 6 and the advanced 6. I'm going to do it without talking. That way, any kind of verbiage that you have in your head or that you've heard before, you can insert as I show you this through example. And then we'll cool down. And then we'll meet in the middle in our minds. I'll send y'all an email. We can talk about what your needs are from me. So I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to do basic 6 and advanced 6. And commence. I'm going to scoot over so I have space to do our advanced moves. So there they are, our basic and advanced six. So we're going to explore these moves. We're going to really dig deep into these moves using our principles and, start really getting that slow, smooth, continuous, that just nice flow that comes once we know the movements, we can dive deep into them. So those are the movements that we're going to do. We'll work on those for several weeks. And then if we want to, we can start with that part two. I have taught part two only in person. I've never taught part two virtually. I don't know if Regina's trained in part two, but rarely do we have a part two class. Our movements are much like a dance. It's like learning the pieces and parts to a dance, putting them together, sometimes to music, and doing those movements in that certain order. That's what Tai Chi is. Lance, you mentioned you did Yang style. Now we do Sun. This is Sun style Tai Chi where we're more upright. If I remember right, Yang style, there's a little bit more like whippiness to it.
Yeah, it's been 40 years.
Okay. Well, I'm not like any kind of master trainer of all the forms of Tai Chi. But if I remember right, Yang style, I don't know if it's more squatted down. It may be. I know Sun style is has a higher stance. We're not bent down. We just have that looseness in our knee, which lends itself to song, which is open joints. And so anytime we have song joints, it allows energy to flow. So as we do our movements, don't lock your joints. Most often we lock our elbows and we lock our knees. And so make an effort to keep a softness in your elbows and a softness in your knees. That's not squatted down. It's just a softness there. They just have a little bit of ability for us to move and absorb impact if someone were to run into us. That's how it translates to outside of Tai Chi class. But we're going for open joints in Tai Chi to allow energy to flow. So when we bring our hands out, we're out, but we're not out. We're not Frankenstein hands. So just keep that effort to keep the soft bend in your elbows. Probably the one move where people make the most mistakes is when we stretch our spine. There's still a soft bend there, and sometimes I see this where you lock the joints. And so just keep in mind, no matter what movement we're doing, sometimes it may be hard to see on a video, but just to keep a nice softness in your joints to let the energy flow. All right, so class is shorter today. Well, shorter in exercising because we did a lot of talking, which I think was necessary, but longer because it's after 10 o'clock. But do you have any questions about any of that? You might think, okay, go for it.
A technology issue. You kept disappearing.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Kept disappearing. Yeah. And no, I think it was just switching between other folks would come up in the class during, I don't know how to explain it. I would not see you. I would see other folks in the class.
All right. Let's see.
That was disconcerting.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe instead of pushing, no. I think instead of pushing pin, I need to push spotlight. Okay. Sharita, start talking. Say something.
I've had that before too.
Okay. Did Sharita just come up or did I stay up as the big picture?
You stayed up as a big picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it was doing that for me also. It kept going back from you, Sharita, too.
I bet it's because I chose pin and not spotlight. And that's just because what I tell y'all, I'm kind of a dummy when it comes to technology.
It's just hard to flow. Because you would go and come.
So now I'll just make sure I pick spotlight. I don't think in my head that there was a difference. So I just picked whatever one my mouse would get to first. So thank y'all for telling me.
Yeah.
I know y'all, I joked for the longest time. Anytime people would be like, we really encourage you to do virtual. And I'm like, not me. I do in person. That's all I do. I don't do virtual. And so when I started falling in love with virtual, everyone kind of made fun of me for loving it. But then it didn't make me any smarter about virtual just because I loved teaching it and connecting virtually. So I still have a lot to learn, and I usually learn it by doing it wrong and then trying something else. I think last week, my laptop will automatically connect to Wi-Fi in my office, but our Wi-Fi is terrible. So I kept freezing up. Well, I had forgotten I have to plug it into an Ethernet cord. So it's not on Wi-Fi. It's actually in the wall. So I won't glitch on y'all. So I have it. That's the first thing I looked at when you said that, Lance. I was like, oh gosh, am I not plugged in? But I'm plugged in. So I think it's because of the pin or the spotlight. So I'll make sure I hit spotlight.
Well,
so
I could hear you the whole time talking, but the picture was what kept
switching to other people.
Well, to Sharita in the blue top.
To Sharita.
Between you and her, but I could hear you talking the whole time, even though it was showing her picture.
I probably became a really small picture instead of the big picture. I just disappeared.
I never saw you
Yeah,
in the
disappeared altogether.
Well, y'all keep me straight. Let me know when something's happening. I like to blame Claris on things, but if everybody doesn't have Claris, then I can't blame them. So, no, really, it's usually because I don't know what I'm doing. I just know how to make a meeting on Zoom. I know how to share it. I know how to start it. I know how to push record. So like I'm just like this much. I'm this much. But I love Tai Chi, and I love to teach Tai Chi and share it and practice it. And so that has to mean something. That the love for teaching and the love for Tai Chi is there. And the technology stuff, I'll hope to get better and better at. But let's cool down, and we always cool down by giving ourselves a little fist massage. This helps break up lactic acid, helps keep us from being sore. And so if you're not accustomed to transferring weight a lot, you probably will be sore from doing the Tai Chi. And this just helps with that soreness. In our cool downs, it tells us just to do a thigh punch, but you literally could punch any part of your body that does have muscle soreness, slightly punching to break up that lactic acid. But if you've ever seen anybody do a foam roller after a workout, it's the same premise, is breaking up lactic acid. Then we intentionally gather tension and we let it go. Release that tension. We do not want to live life in tension because we'll have pain and headaches. Let it go. Shoulder aches, neck aches, because often we're holding tension in our shoulders and neck, and let it go. Inhale and then exhale as you let it go. Inhale and exhale. Big shoulder circle. Inhale up and exhale as you push down. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more. That feels good to breathe. And then to end class, we always take our right fist. We don't squeeze that fist though. We don't cause tension there, but that represents our strength. Our left fingers all together represents our friendship. Our thumb in represents our humility. So we have strength, friendship, and humility, and we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste. So thank y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you for being patient with me and open to me as a new instructor if you've not had me before. But for everybody for being open to me trying something I've never tried before. And I'm looking forward to our times of meeting on Friday mornings. Look forward to hearing from me, and because I want to hear your feedback and how I can be better, okay? But I love y'all.
Love y'all.
Have a good weekend. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
It's your birthday.
Huh?
What day next month is your birthday?
Not telling. No, it's February 26th.
Okay.
I always make a mistake of mentioning that. I like to celebrate others. I'm not always real good about being celebrated.
Oh. Okay.
All right, y'all. I'll see you next Friday.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Well, I may see Gwen and Sharita. I may see y'all on Tuesday, and that's fine. Okay.
I'll play
Okay.
on Tuesday.
Okay.
Have a
Love
great, have
y'all.
a great weekend.
You too.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.